Second only to William Montgomery in time as a regular and number of sets, Hans Kim is a true Kill Tony veteran. His legacy in the show's history is undeniable, but few have divided the room like him. So today I'm crawling out from the corner of my basement to dissect the riddle that is Hans Kim, because if anyone has the time to rank socially awkward comedians, it's me. And this is the universally accepted formula for ranking regulars, forged through isolation, microwave burritos, and a complete absence of female distraction. Let's start at the top by placing Hans in the chapter of Kill Tony history he wandered into. This is the most important metric in the whole system because everything was harder when the show was just starting. Hans Kim rose to prominence during what many consider to be the fourth era of Kill Tony, the early Austin years. And it's arguable that no one has ever caught a better wave than him, as that window of opportunity was practically gift-wrapped. In early 2020, Kill Tony was at its absolute peak of success and popularity. The show was touring across the US and beyond, and fan sentiment was at an all-time high. Then COVID hit, and everything came to a halt. After what felt like an eternity of studio episodes, fans were starving for the real Kill Tony to return. Then, the whole production packed up and moved to Austin, leaving the old band behind, and for a minute, it felt like we were all pretending it was still the same show. So once again, fans were starving for something, anything, they could latch onto and celebrate. And just as the show started to find its rhythm again, Tony had its now infamous Asian incident, an overblown controversy according to most fans that only made them dig in deeper. And so, in walks Hansi, the sacred Korean, a perfectly timed PR miracle during the show's most delicate meltdown. He was made a regular on an episode where Alex Jones was the guest and Tony was dressed as the Joker, and within weeks, he's kissing hookers on camera like it's a diplomatic mission to roaring applause. So yeah, it's more than fair to say Hans was heavily favored by timing, and for that, he's taking a serious hit in his final ranking. Now, let's break down the actual material, the delivery, the writing, and how he handles himself during the interviews. I know this will trigger a few neckbeards in the caves of Reddit, but I actually like Hans Kim as a comic. He thrives on short jokes with clever setups, and his delivery is very bare bones. There's no bells and whistles, no physicality, no funny faces, no screaming, and no Kaufman-esque humor. It's just his deadpan voice, his playful smile, and the joke. So it's really all about the writing, which is often pretty damn good, and if you don't believe me, that's okay. Let's roll the tape and watch 1,000 Reddit warriors die inside.
A lot of people make fun of Asians because we like to eat dogs, which I understand is very shocking because in America, dogs are treated like family members, but in Asia, we treat our family members like family members. I'm not a racist, but I did see an Arabic dude reading a book in Arabic on an airplane, which kind of freaked me out, but then I saw him fold the corner of the page and put the book away, and I was like, oh, thank God he's got future plans. I think my favorite Marvel movie would have to be the Black Panther, because it gave black children a hero they could finally look up to. And not just someone like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, or Harriet Tubman, or Thurgood Marshall, or Rosa Parks, or Maya Angelou, Kofi Annan, Nelson Mandela, Jay-Z, Oprah, Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali. Now there's a fake person that dresses like a cat. My name is Hans Kim. I'm the brand new regular on Kill Fucking Tony. I'd have to say my success is owed to 10% hitting the mics hard, 10% writing, 80% being Asian at the right time. There's a theory that the coronavirus was leaked from a lab, which I think is hilarious. It's so Asian to take your work home with you. I'm a sapiosexual. That means I'm looking for a girlfriend who's intellectually stimulated by the mental exercise of finding me attractive. Love rednecks because rednecks can survive in any wilderness situation that you put them in, except a situation where everyone has equal rights. That kind of fucks them up. You can live in a swamp with an alligator. Why can't you live in a cul-de-sac with a minority? I saw a sign in my neighborhood that said 20 miles per hour when children are present. But how fast do I drive if the children are dwelling in the past? I was talking to my white friend. He was like, dude, the only reason black people are bigger and stronger than white people is because we bred them as slaves to be that way. I was like, oh, why didn't you do that to yourselves? My sister's kind of a bitch. She's like, did you know that your toilet water is cleaner than the drinking water in Africa? I was like, that's the pipes that we have. What do you want me to do about it? If I see an African walking down the street, I'll let him drink from my toilet. It's not a problem.
His interviews were also surprisingly entertaining, especially early on. Hans is the undisputed master of awkward honesty, always present, always locked and loaded with a response, just enough to be funny, never enough to be fully understood. He took the Asian jokes in stride, and from there, every interview naturally drifted towards his Austin lifestyle, especially the never-ending saga of his romantic escapades. Of course, we all know what happened there. I won't be showing the kissing montage, not because of YouTube's guidelines, but because I physically can't watch that many women I'll never touch. Instead, here are some funny interview moments from Hans.
Fuck yeah.
What are you gonna do after this? What are you gonna do to celebrate?
I'm gonna go upstairs and be like, haha, motherfuckers, you know?
Wow, look at that. I didn't know Asian guys could make women squirt. Is that true?
Hitachi.
Hitachi. How you been enjoying Austin? What have you been doing for fun around town?
It's beautiful. I went to Martindale to go floating down the river.
Okay.
And there was a little child that was lost, so I took it upon myself to paddle down the river on a paddleboard. And I didn't find her, but I went on a journey.
Wait, you didn't find the child?
No, I found myself.
How'd you Wow.
I think like women are getting more masculine, so they're like, oh look, a man that's sort of like a woman. Yeah.
There you go. That's so true. That's what I'm talking about.
Keep switching those genders. It's just good for me, you know?
Yes.
Have you ever been with a white girl before?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I used to date a white girl for 6 months. White girls are plentiful around America, but I think they're like a great experimental, adventurous American couple, and if you'd like to teach this young Asian boy your American ways...
Hans, you get the most beautiful girls to come down here and kiss you every single week.
That's
it's absolutely
amazing.
incredible.
Yes, please. This can happen outside Kill Tony too. You know, if you see me on the street, say hello.
This guy off stage literally has no common sense whatsoever. He doesn't think of any of the repercussions of his decisions. In fact, last week, he booked a show. I found out on his Instagram. Tell everybody who you were going to perform with.
Peng Dang.
Yeah!
I was gonna drive 3 hours for $20.
$20. That was the
What
next
the
thing.
fuck
I was
are you
excited to
thinking?
reveal that. Oh, it gets better, by the way. He texted the booker of the show, texted this guy, who he has no history with, by the way. A guy asking him to be on a show with Pang Dang. He texts him, sorry, can't do the show. Tony says I'm not allowed. So...
Of course, it wasn't all gold, and not even close. At some point, Hans definitely traded some of his writing discipline to enjoy the Austin nightlife. And once Kill Tony started making people famous, some regulars would noticeably slack on their sets, as juggling the show's schedule with sold-out road gigs definitely must not be easy. But I rank Hans pretty high when it comes to material and delivery. I honestly like his stuff. Now let's take a look at how much stage time Hans actually had before Kill Tony. Obviously, the less experience someone has, the more slack they deserve. But if you've been in the game for years, expect the rankings to hit a little harder. By the time Hans showed up on episode 503, he already had 8 years of stand-up under his belt. Sure, his first appearance was actually on episode 177, but the real Hans saga didn't start until much later. And that means another hit to his final score. Now, let's talk improvement. Did Hans actually level up during his time on Kill Tony? Let's be honest, when you're 8 years in, those big leaps in improvement don't come easy anymore. Hans' writing style is pretty labor intensive, so cranking out fresh material for all those back-to-back minutes isn't exactly a walk in the park. Having said that, Hans' minutes did get a little stale after a while, and if you're doing observational humor, you better have at least one banger in there. Otherwise, it's just quiet thinking out loud. So no, he didn't fall off, but he didn't level up either. What we did get was a slow drift into laziness, padded minutes, and half-baked bits stretched past their experience state. So Hans takes another blow to his final ranking. I could have called it charisma or charm, but I'm trying to stay hip with the youth, so we're going with aura. How magical of a comedic presence is Hans really? You could argue no regular burned hotter than Hans in the summer of 2021. But looking back, I think our judgment might have been a little clouded by the constant stream of women being thrown his way. It's like when a YouTuber buys views, an athlete is juicing, or a band drops one hit and disappears. The numbers look great until they don't. He's definitely got charm, I just think we overlooked it because we were all still drunk on the sweet summer of 2021. He's not lighting the metric on fire, but he's not flopping either. A steady upper middle class ranking. Hans is easily one of the most hated regulars on Reddit, but to be fair, Reddit hates everyone, it's kind of their thing. Their main gripe is that Hans is a trust fund kid who played broke for sympathy. Honestly, I don't think he misrepresented his situation that much, or even at all. Nobody really knows the deal with his parents, and let's be real, nobody chooses where they're born, so I don't care. They're definitely right about him slacking off very often, that part is fair. But the whole Rick Diaz drama, I also couldn't care less. Reddit's opinion doesn't factor into anything for me, so Hans gets a small bump just for surviving the outrage. Do I like Hans? Would I invite him down to the basement, crack a couple of Mountain Dews, maybe show him my Little Pony collection? Absolutely. The only hard drugs I indulge in are day-old pizza, internet validation, and pretending I'm not still a virgin. But yeah, I'd hang out with Hans while he drops acid or whatever. I'd even let him win at Settlers of Catan, that's how much I like him. And of course, there's always the possibility of second-hand female attention, which frankly is the best I can hope for. So yeah, another small bump for Hans. Hans is like the ultimate warrior, all the tools for a legendary run, but somehow always managed to keep getting in his own way. Some of it is not really his fault. Kill Tony didn't task him with getting better, it handed him the keys to his comedy dreams and said go live it. He showed remarkable potential as a joke writer, but unrealized potential is like a sealed condom in a virgin's wallet. Technically impressive, but deeply unused. Solid interviews, charismatic, and forever a legend during the summer of 2021. I'll rank him somewhere between A and B. I think that's fair, and I really wish I could hang him higher. I really root for Hans, and I'm here for the comeback. What do you guys think? Do you agree with my rankings? Let me know in the comments and tell me who I should rank next. Thank you for watching. As always, please like and subscribe to support the basement, and I'll see you on the next one.